Every place you go to, there's an altar. And every man of relevance has an altar. Every woman of relevance has an altar. You can only be relevant on earth when you have contact with the spiritual world. Are you with me? Do you know why? Because we were created out of the spiritual world. So any man that wants to be relevant in destiny must be able to operate from the spiritual world. That man must have a connection with the spiritual world. Without an altar, there won't be a living covenant. The altar is a place where covenant is activated. Any man that says he has a covenant with God will have an altar. It is an altar that activates your covenant to work. So every man that you see on earth that is doing one thing or the other that is touching life, check them very well, they have an altar. It might likely be from the positive place or from the negative place. So anywhere a covenant is established, an altar must be established. And that is why anyone that encounters a spirit, one of the first things the spirit will do is to enter a covenant with that person. And once he enters a covenant with that person, he will demand that the person should raise an altar to keep servicing that covenant. If a covenant is not serviced, therefore the person will not be able to receive the covenant benefits. The covenant benefit might likely be long life, might likely be prosperity, might likely be children. And as long as that covenant is not serviced, then that benefit will not be seen in the life of that person. Some person might have likely entered into covenant with God at one point in time, but they have not yet understand the place of an altar, where they need to raise an altar to continuously service that covenant. That is why as a child of God, the moment we give our life to Jesus Christ, we automatically enter into a covenant with God. Then what God expects from us is for us to raise an altar of prayer, an altar of worship, an altar of praise. As long as we do that on a daily basis, that covenant that we have entered with God through being born again will continually be serviced. And the benefit attached to that covenant, it will begin to work in our life. The reason why the child of God does not have the manifest presence of God, what we mean by the manifest presence of God is God being there with you at that point in time. And how will you know that you have the manifest presence of God? Is when you declare a word stands. Is when you command the sick to be healed and the sick be healed. Is when God begins to speak to you. Anyone that regularly hears from God has the manifest presence of God. For we to continually invoke that manifest presence, we must continually pay our sacrifices upon that altar. So you must understand that without an altar, covenant is useless. Many of you today, you need to create an altar. An altar is not about you building a stone or a monument and bowing down to it. An altar is creating a specific time when you meet with God every blessed day. The moment you create a specific time when you meet with God on a blessed day, that time that you have created has become an altar. But that will not be possible if you don't have a covenant. Are you with me? A covenant comes first, then before an altar. If there's no covenant, then creating an altar is very, very useless. So you must have a covenant with God. Then, after that, then you create an altar. Then you lay down your sacrifice on a daily basis upon that altar.